On this episode of In the Fight, the U.S. military witnesses the strength and courage of Afghan forces. Afghans band together in an act of solidarity against the Taliban. Airmen risk their lives disposing of explosive devices. The Army Corps of Engineers tackles one of the largest life-saving projects in the nation. And we look at the increasing role of women in the military. The strength and courage of the Afghan National Security Forces is witnessed every day by the U.S. military. Army Staff Sergeant Jose Ibarra tells us about some soldiers who are providing assistance to Afghan forces on the front lines.
These soldiers take each step carefully as they walk through an area in southern Afghanistan known for its high number of IEDs, improvised explosive devices. The Afghan Explosive Ordnance Disposal Team is doing their part in finding and clearing IEDs during Operation Sham 22. U.S. soldiers from Combined Task Force Dragoon are ready to assist as the ANSF, Afghan National Security Forces, take the lead during this operation.
What we got here is Fox Troop from Task Force Cougar supporting Operation Sham 22. And their purpose is to help the ANA and AUP establish security and really take away a key facilitation route from the enemy. Right behind me, you've got what I would call the Siasang Gap, which is a break in the ridge lines that allows facilitation into the center of Shawalikot. And by establishing an ANSF presence here, we will deny the enemy the ability to move lethal aid through that gap and either down south into the jungle or north up into the Shinartu area. So right now, we've got a checkpoint being constructed right across the ridge line, and we've got some OPs being set up on the ridge lines right over here. And if that goes, that'll not only stabilize the area for the elections, but will also provide some lasting security in the Shawalikot and Arghandab district.
As eyes watch from above, soldiers on the ground set up the necessary obstacles to secure the area.
We're going to set up a little hasty blocking position with C-wire and pickets, deny the enemy possible routes. We don't want any vehicle to come up and be able to quickly place in an IED that we end up traveling on this road.
First Lieutenant Krekel and his soldiers go out towards the main checkpoint being built to see how the ANA, Afghan National Army, is doing.
We just took a patrol out to the future ANA checkpoint that they're building. This is all on their own. They've provided all the assets, all the building materials, all the engineers. This is a 100% ANA construction of the checkpoint. And it's a really good step forward to them taking control of their country, and this gives confidence to all the locals, and it's going to be pretty good.
Throughout southern Afghanistan, brave men like these stand in the face of the enemy and take the lead for the future of their country. I'm Army Staff Sergeant Jose Ibarra, Kandahar Province, Afghanistan.
The First Amendment to the United States Constitution allows citizens to peacefully assemble and express themselves. Recently, hundreds of people in Afghanistan banded together in an act of solidarity against the Taliban. NATO Channel correspondent Mel Preen brings us this story.
It was a wet morning, but still hundreds turned up to this park in Kabul to protest. They shout, "The police and the army belong to our country." In the past, Afghan President Hamid Karzai has referred to the Taliban as brothers. It's a concept that many in this crowd just can't accept.
Taliban are not our brothers, they are our enemies. Whoever killed the army, whoever killed the police, they are our enemies. They are not our brothers and they are not our friends.
What we want today is from Karzai that not to behave like brothers with them. They are not our brothers. They are our enemies, and the one who is killing our national army, police or ANS, they are all our enemies, not brothers.
Afghans were calling for President Karzai to sign an agreement to allow US troops to stay in country post-2014.
I think except President Karzai, everybody supports the signing of the BSA with US because this is one of the guarantee for future of Afghanistan, future generation. We need this to be signed by Karzai.
The BSA is very important for Afghanistan, for future of Afghanistan. We asking again from Hamid Karzai, please sign as soon as possible.
Despite the wet weather, the protesters managed to get their point across.
I want to translate this for you, that death to terrorists and their supporters.
Mel Preen in Kabul, Afghanistan for the NATO channel.
NATO Training Mission Afghanistan and Combined Security Transition Command are focused on putting permanent systems in place that will strengthen Afghan security forces. Army Broadcasting correspondent Gail McCabe explains in this story.
The Afghan Ministry of Interior has some 160,000 national police, ANP, working in 380 districts in 34 provinces. In terms of personnel management, the size and scope is daunting. Enter ARIMS, Afghan Human Resource Information Management System, a multi-phase program designed to bring structure and accountability.
We will avoid the corruptions. We will bring accountability, prosperity, and also we will have a good numbers of the policing.
Currently, MOI Human Resources is paper-intensive. This room is just one of several with reams of documents and assorted records that date back to the time of Soviet occupation. The Afghan government, with ISAF assistance, looks to convert individual elements into data, details that can be documented and tracked.
And what that gives us is visibility and transparency into how the Afghan National Security Forces are building up and where the money that the international donors, where their money is going.
What ARIMS also brings to the table is gender equality. A notable percentage of the workers implementing the system are women.
And this is very high for us that we all girls collecting here and job together. And this is good for all of us.
ARIMS is a management tool that will change the face of the ANP. The ministry looks to have the system fully implemented by the end of the year. Gail McCabe, Afghanistan.
My name's Lieutenant Nicholson from St. Petersburg, Florida. Just want to say hi to my family and friends and say thank you for all your support.
Major Rodriguez from VMGR 252, Cherry Point, North Carolina. I'd like to say hi to my wife, Sarah, and my baby, Hannah. Love you. See you soon.
Hi, I'm Tanisha Burley from Fort Worth, Texas with the 82nd CMRE. I would like to give a shout out to my mom, my brothers and sisters, and my nephew. I love you guys and I miss y'all.
Hi, I'm Major Amy Glisson and I wanted to give a shout out to my husband Wes back in San Antonio. I love you very much and I can't wait to see you soon. Bye.
Coming up, soldiers learn to survive in new environments. And airmen risk their lives disposing of explosive devices. Check out DividsHub.net for the latest accurate and reliable information as In the Fight continues. What is the name of the suit used by explosive disposal technicians? The answer when we return.
Balak-10, meaning shoulder to shoulder. We're out here with our counterparts, our allies. We're getting to train, shoulder to shoulder with them.
So it's one of the time that we band together as one.
We all have a passion to serve this community together in unison.
It opens everything. It breaks the barrier.
The environment is my passion. Every day, I live for the outdoors and all of its challenges. That's why I enlisted in the Coast Guard. Now, I serve to protect the environment and defend my country. like I was born for this.
Were you born ready for a greater challenge? Find out at GoCoastGuard.com.
What is the name of the suit used by explosive disposal technicians? The answer is A, blast suit. With U.S. forces transitioning out of the Middle East, service members must be ready to survive and live in any environment that they may be deployed to. Army Sergeant Vanessa Ashley files this report.
The 25th Infantry Division has taken training to a whole new perspective. Jungle operations training has been introduced to soldiers on Schofield Barracks. The 3rd Brigade Combat Team is the first unit to conduct the training. Throughout the course, soldiers undergo 5 weeks on how to live in the jungle environment. The course consists of waterborne operations, first aid, and many more individual skill training.
They need to have an understanding that they need to be able to live in the jungle, not survive. The jungle is probably one of the harshest terrains environment to actually operate in because of the vegetation, the moisture, the rain, and also some of the plants and animals that you'll find in a jungle environment.
With the recent shift from the Middle East, soldiers need to ensure that they are highly effective to accomplish any mission, anywhere, and in any type of environment.
This is a total reset in mindset. The days of thinking that we're going to see our enemy, all right, that we're going to have that advance notice, those are gone. So it's going to take a lot of developing that field craft, which is a lost science to us, developing that field craft so that we can go out here and fight and win.
The unit hopes that this will mark a new beginning for the 25th Infantry Division to continue jungle operations training in the near future. Reporting from Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, I'm Army Sergeant Vanessa Ashley.
Aircraft maintainers have many duties when it comes to upholding regulations on their planes. Senior Airman Ellen McCarthy takes us to Ramstein Air Base, where maintainers perform upkeep on a C-130J Super Hercules that most people wouldn't expect.
Without proper maintenance on aircraft, the mission could not be accomplished. A lot goes into upholding our aircraft, right down to washing it.
Basically, it's just like washing a car. Spray water on it, spray some soap on it, and then scrub it down. A lot of good manual labor.
But why is washing aircraft so important?
There's actually a lot that goes into it, believe it or not. They even go as far as talking about the aerodynamics of the aircraft, but really it's all corrosion prevention and control.
Washing a C-130J Super Hercules takes about 8 hours and requires at least 8 people to get the job done. The most important part of the process is safety.
Safety is absolutely paramount, so everybody has to have their suits, their boots, their gloves, and their face shields and goggles whenever they're working with the chemicals.
At the end of the day, even something as simple as washing a plane makes these airmen proud to be a part of the mission.
Honestly, it's really rewarding. You go to work, you work really hard all day, and then you go home feeling like you accomplished part of the mission. It's great.
Senior Airman Ellen McCarthy, Ramstein Air Base, Germany.
Explosive ordnance disposal is inherently dangerous and carries with it the risk of a device detonating at any moment. Tech Sergeant Colleen Urban introduces us to a special component of the Air Force that deals with these explosive devices.
Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole!
This might be what comes to mind when hearing explosive ordnance disposal, or EOD. However, Air Force EOD has an additional, distinctive mission.
Air Force EOD specifically responds to any kind of aircraft or airfield responses, whether that be post-attack or just in-flight emergencies. We're the ones who handle that.
EOD technicians from the 380th Air Expeditionary Wing focus their training on that very mission set, centered on the airfield and air operations.
Safe.
Our mission here is comprised of 3 main components. The first is launch and recovery of the airfield operations. The second is force protection, so that's like if somebody has suspect packages or if there's a VBID at the front gate. And then the third part is recovery of the airfield denied by ordnance.
It doesn't matter if it's Air Force, Army, Marine, or Navy EOD, all technicians have a higher obligation and responsibility.
It's up to us to make the sound decisions to keep everybody safe and keep everybody alive.
Reporting from Southwest Asia, I'm Technical Sergeant Colleen Urban.
In California, residents are watching the new Folsom Dam project transform from rock and dirt into a massive life-saving project. It's one of the largest construction jobs in the nation, and crews are working around the clock to complete this critical infrastructure project. U.S. Army Corps of Engineers correspondent Todd Plain brings us this story.
In California's Sacramento Valley, residents are watching Folsom Dam's new auxiliary spillway project transform from rock and dirt into a massive life-saving flood risk reduction project. Let's start at the heart of it all, the spillway's new control structure. Essentially a second dam. It's comprised of 6 monoliths with 6 bays where water passes through 6 30 by 45-foot gates. Josh Wagner, one of our civil engineers on the project, explains.
The monoliths are pieces of the actual structure, and when we're talking about the bays, we're talking about the flow-through areas. When the structure is complete, water will be passing through this area.
Just about everything we need to build it is on the project site, from a concrete plant and materials testing lab, to a carpentry shop, to a water treatment plant, and we're making it all right here.
So behind me is our contractor's concrete batch plant. This is where it all gets put together. Aggregates brought in onto site, it's processed and moved into the plant. All of the materials get mixed together. We produce it and put it into the structure.
But before we place the concrete, we've got to build a support system. In the carpentry shop, workers build forms to help concrete keep its shape. Steel rebar is brought down into the pit by crane, where panels of it are tied together to help strengthen the concrete.
So they get those in place, they'll put the containment or the forms in place around it, and then they'll place the concrete into that.
Before, after, and during construction, we follow strict environmental guidelines to minimize construction impacts. For instance, we have a stormwater purifying system on site that captures and processes all the rain, runoff, and any water involved with making concrete during our year-round construction here.
Any water that comes in contact with fresh concrete is industrial water and has to be collected, contained, and disposed of separate from the rest of the water that's collected on our site.
Together, with ongoing levee improvements downstream of here, this project is a key part to modernizing Sacramento's flood control system and reduce Sacramento's flood risk for decades to come.
This is Staff Sergeant Jonathan Weishaupt from Clayton, Delaware, currently stationed in Kandahar, Afghanistan. On my way home, I'd like to give a special shout out to my wife, my 4 kids, my mom, and my dad. I love you all, and I'll see you soon.
Hello, my name is Gunner Sergeant Martha Rivera, currently deployed with 82nd CMRE, Kandahar, Afghanistan. Want to say hello to all my family and friends in Los Angeles, California. Miss you guys. My son, Hector Guardado, I love you, baby. Can't wait to get back and see all of you.
Hey everyone, I'm Evan Arihi from Alfred Air Force Base. I just want to say a shout out to my mom from Conyers, Georgia. Hey Mom, I love you.
Coming up, we profile a combat cameraman deployed to a Special Operations Command. And we'll showcase some of the best photos from our service members as In the Fight, presented by Divots, continues. Who photographed the famous flag raising on Iwo Jima? The answer when we return.
I want to give a shout out to my family and friends.
I want to send a shout out to my husband,
to my parents, my family back home.
I'd like to give a shout out to my girlfriend.
To my family and friends in Lansing, Michigan.
To my family out in Tucson, Arizona.
My beautiful wife and children in Des Moines, Iowa.
To everybody in Texas.
In York, Pennsylvania.
Colorado Springs, Colorado.
Chicago, Illinois.
Harrisonburg, Virginia.
Orlando, Florida.
Oceanside, California.
And Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
I love you guys. I miss you. And I hope I'll see you soon.
From combat-related stress to the day-to-day stressors of life.
This package is going to be completed.
This is the 4th time this week.
Stress can affect every Marine and Marine family. The De-Stress Line provides anonymous counseling for Marines and Marine families when it's needed most. If you're feeling the effects of stress, call today and let us help you win your personal battles.
With the new Military 24/7 app from Divots, you turn your favorite mobile device into a window to the front lines. Connect with your nation's finest men and women through our video and photography archives and stay up to date with news reported directly from service members. Quickly share information and breaking stories with friends via Facebook, Twitter, or email. News, photos, video. Your military 24/7.
Who photographed the famous flag raising on Iwo Jima? The answer is D, Joe Rosenthal. Less than 0.07% of the U.S. population joins the Marine Corps. Less than 10% of those people are women. Marine Corporal Kevin Christ looks at the increasing role of women in the military in this report.
The few, the proud, and for women, the fewer. Most Marines are familiar with Opha Mae Johnson, the first woman to enlist in the Marine Corps Reserves nearly a century ago. Women had limited roles during that time. The motto was free a man to fight. Women enlisted in the military to take men's office and factory jobs, while men went to the battlefield.
Women have come a long ways from the beginning to not being able to pretty much do anything, being at home, staying with the kids, being the wife, cooking, everything like that. I mean, you have CEOs, you have sergeant majors, you have generals that are also women. I mean, we've came a long ways. I think it's good to recognize those points in history that we have accomplished.
Most Marine jobs, like the Marine Corps Embassy Security Group, were male dominant.
Well, at first, these female Marines, they only served in certain countries. Now today, female Marines serve in every one of those posts. And every single post, as we've seen with the bombings in Dar es Salaam and Kenya, all posts are they're fair game to terrorists. And it's not going to matter if we have a female Marine there or not. We've had female Marines standing on the front lines in third world countries over the last 15, 20 years now.
We are meeting and surpassing the standards that they've set before us. And every time they decided, hey, we're going to change this because, a mile and a half is not far enough. So we're going to make it 3 miles, and we've met that. When they decide that, we're going to change it to pull-ups and we're going to enact it, it's going to be hard, but we will meet that standard too because we don't have a choice.
In 2013, the first female Marines graduated the School of Infantry.
Our strength as a Marine Corps is based on our unity and our common goals and ideals. It's our desire inside. It's what makes us want to serve our nation. It's what makes us work hard to be who we are as Marines, and that is not a gender-specific thing. So in our Corps, today's modern Corps, whether you're a man or a woman, really is irrelevant. It's what you can do for our nation, it's what you can do for the team, and it's what you can do to make the Marine Corps strong enough to protect our nation.
They are called the Unseen Warrior. Combat cameramen risk life and limb documenting the action on the front lines. Sergeant First Class Ben Garza profiles a military photographer deployed to a Special Operations Command and brings us this story.
Comcam, where you at?
Right here, son.
Back up. Get on the other side of that wall.
Roger.
Fire in the hole!
I am U.S. Army Specialist Connor Mendez, 55th Combat Camera, and I am a combat photographer for Combined Joint Special Operations Task Force. Once I realized what Special Missions Platoon did at 55th Combat Camera, that's what I wanted to be, and I strived to do that, and I worked with various components in the Special Operations world, and now I'm deployed under a Special Operations Command, and I'm enjoying it. I think it's one of the best things about this job is being able to work under these guys and document what they do, and document not just our nation's history, but the making of another nation's special operations. And my job is I'll go out there and keep up with the team and document the progress that the Afghan counterparts have done on their own. I feel my job is important because it reports what's happening on the front lines here. And for everybody else back home, they get to see the end result. You know, we take pictures here and we send it through a portal, and people back home get to see what's really going on over here and what the progress of this war is going to, and the progress that the Afghan commandos and their army, the progress that they're making on their own. This here is, for me, the real thing. This is what being a combat photographer is all about. Being able to, you know, get your hands dirty and be on the front lines with the people that are making a difference.
DVIDS is a 24/7 operation that provides a timely, accurate, and reliable connection between the media and the military serving worldwide. Through a network of over 200 portable satellite transmitters around the globe and a distribution hub in Atlanta, Georgia, DVIDS gives you access to the front lines with live and archived broadcast video, still imagery, and print products. Visit our website at dividshub.net and search through our enormous video and photo library. Register on our website to gain complete access to high-definition content, along with breaking news alerts and webcasts from top military officials. For questions or comments about In the Fight or DVIDS, you can email us at ondemand@dividshub.net or follow us on Twitter and Facebook. As we close, we feature some of the best photos that DVIDS has to offer, as we listen to Eddie Horst's composition, Pangea. See you next time, In the Fight.